I want you to think about this for a second. In your lifetime, how much money have you let fall through your hands? Really think about it. How much money have you earned and how much of that have you retained? For example, if you've earned $100,000, $200,000 or even more in your entire life, what do you have to show for that? Now, the reason why most people are bad with money is because they don't know how to play the money game. And that's okay, because we aren't taught in school, we probably aren't taught by our parents, because chances are they weren't taught either. So let's stop this vicious cycle. It starts with you. Learn so you can be educated and you can teach your kids. Now, if you want to know what hours of watching YouTube videos, reading books and listening to podcasts on finance gets you, stick around for this video. You'll be able to trade 10 minutes of your time for years of mine. Money, a subject most people are reluctant to discuss, and I want to change that. So let's wander into one of the most misunderstood areas of life. Did you know that 50% of Australians live paycheck to paycheck? This statistic shocked me, especially because it's not like we live in a country where the average wage is low. What's worse, there are those people who are getting paid, spending all their money and then spending more, finding themselves in an abundance of debt. And that's unfortunately 85% of us. Yes, you heard me correctly, 85% of Australians admit to living beyond their means. The more research I did on finance, the scarier I found reality. It wasn't like I was learning about something that I had sort of already known. It was more like discovering that everything I did know was actually wrong. And that's the most twisted part of all of this, because our lives so heavily depend on money, yet we either aren't taught how to handle it, or the knowledge we do receive is actually far from the truth. I tend to hear some negative misconceptions about money, and let me tell you something, wealth does not mean greed. Whether you like it or not, money provides you with better opportunities and a better chance to life. So, if you tell me you don't care about money, let me ask you this. Do you want to see the world? Do you want your kids to receive a better education? Do you want access to better medical treatment? Or do you simply just not want to be controlled by money and the stress that it brings? Begin with having the right mindset and educating yourself on money. I want to start off by getting you in the right mindset and therefore doing all of the right things. I spent an absurd amount of time researching financially successful individuals, and they share one thing in common, their mindset. So that tells you something so simple can be achieved by anyone. This may sound silly, but you need to unlock the financial genius within you. If you do not have enough money in your life, there is one underlying reason. You have not conditioned yourself for wealth. I have found that those who have built wealth began by expecting it, even coming from nothing. All the people I have studied, they, from a young age, expected they would be successful. For example, if your goal is to save $20,000, chances are you won't save 50. Therefore, start by having some great goals and expect that you will achieve them. You need to condition yourself. It is said that if you ignore money, it will ignore you. If you don't take care of your money, it won't take care of you. It's really that simple. Some other misconceptions that I hear about money is that you have to work harder or longer to get it, you have to be smarter to attract it, or you have to take advantage of others to get it. I want to tell you a famous story about a UPS worker in the US. He earned a measly $14,000 a year. However, at the end of his life, his net worth was $70 million. Do you think that he could achieve this if he ignored his money? Let's break down exactly what taking care of your money looks like, beginning with paying yourself first. What I mean by this is you take a percentage of your income as if it were tax. You make this an automated process. Set up an automatic payment to occur as soon as you get paid. That way, there's no emotion involved in having to transfer the amount yourself. As in, you won't get paid and then get tempted not to pay yourself. The government take a portion of our pay before we even see it. That's how little they trust us. So don't trust yourself either. When I say pay yourself first, this is money that should be used towards reaching your financial goal, not to be spent. You know that story I mentioned before about the UPS worker? Well, this is exactly how he did it. He took 20% of his income to pay himself just like a tax. Most people can't even save 5%. Someone in his family actually said to him earlier on, if it were tax and you were forced to pay it, you would find a way. So treat yourself the exact same. Every financially successful person I've come across stresses the importance of doing this. If you pay yourself first, no matter what, you will still find a way to pay the bills. But if you pay the bills first and have the mentality that you will save what's left over, majority of the time, there is nothing left over. Does this sound familiar? I know I was living like this for a long time. I would always tell myself that I would save whatever I had left over, and I actually thought that I was doing a good thing. I then found myself wondering why I wasn't able to save money. I then started paying myself first, and all of a sudden I had these large amounts of money that I was able to put towards investments. I had no change in my income, I just had a change in my approach, and it made all the difference. If you learn to do this, you will find that you don't necessarily need to be earning more money to have more money. You merely need to control your finances. There's a saying that goes, money is a fantastic slave, but a terrible master. What this means is that if you are just working to make more money, to spend it all, money will control your life and dictate what you do. On the contrary, if you learn to control your money and get it to start working for you by investing it, you will find that money is a very powerful tool. So don't let it be anything more than that by giving it the power to determine your destination and how you get there. I have an interesting example of this. There was an NBA player, a high-paid athlete, who was terrible with money. When his NBA career ended, he ended up having to become a janitor. He got fired from that too because he wouldn't take his championship ring off. There are plenty of other examples like this, such as doctors, lawyers, and other high-income earners who are lousy with their money and end up living like poor people or constantly in debt. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, says it like this: people think that making more money will solve the problem, and they don't realize that it's their lack of financial education that is the problem. By the way, I recommended this book on my Instagram, but I want to again. It's a really great place to start. It instills all the right fundamentals of finance and building wealth. Okay, so let's recap what I've said in this video. First, the importance of the mindset. Learning to condition yourself for wealth. And then constantly improving your financial education. Next, pay yourself first. Learn to do this and it will change your life. Now, I will be going into some more depth about some techniques for saving and some places to invest that money. However, one thing that has really stood out to me above all is the fundamentals of building wealth, starting with your mindset. It is all good and well to start saving money and start investing it, but if you lack the financial education and the habits, it won't be sustainable and it might just become a phase. I might also add that you will constantly need to develop this knowledge. Money comes and goes, but if you have the education on how money works, you can gain power over it and begin really building wealth. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can join me on this journey.